I saw Halloween Kills today, directed by David Gordon Green, written by Danny McBride from Blumhouse. This is the direct sequel to Halloween from 2018, which is a sequel to the 1978 Halloween and is like the fourth canon in the Halloween franchise. Don't get confused. Don't get confused. Much like the original Halloween 2, Halloween Kills picks up right after Halloween 2018, after it appears like Laurie Strode and her family have defeated Michael Myers. But no, you guys know if you've seen horror movies, these guys are very, very difficult to kill. And one thing I will tell you that kind of is a reflection of what they did in this movie is when it comes to sequels of horror movies, the more sequels you get, the more ridiculous they become. Like, I'm not saying they're bad, but like, they start to come up with these wild, like, backstories and these wild explanations to why these creatures or monsters or murderers come back. They do it in all of them. They do it in Friday, they do it in Nightmare. They all have some kind of weird backstory. Even the Chucky movies. I mean, we didn't even know about the amulet until the fourth movie. You know what I'm saying? They always do some weird stuff like that. And I was hoping that with the Blumhouse Halloween trilogy, which is Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends coming out next year, they would stick it to a more grounded approach. And they kind of did, except this movie, there's weird things in this movie. So again, this is my non-spoiler review for the film. And I will tell you this. If it's been a while since you've seen the original 1978 Halloween, you're going to want to go back and watch it, and then watch 2018 one. And I know that some of you guys have probably seen the original Halloween a buttload of times. Nothing wrong with that. But there are characters that were not in the 2018 Halloween film that were in the 1978 Halloween movie, the original one, the John Carpenter one, and they appear in this movie. You know, like, for example, Anthony Michael Hall is in this film, and he plays Tommy Doyle, who's the same kid from the first Halloween movie, who previously Paul Rudd played him in The Curse of Michael Myers, in that original canon or whatever. Also, Lindsay Wallace is in this film as well. Characters from the original Halloween movie, come back in this movie. Lonnie, so if you haven't seen the original, it is a good idea. Lee Brackett, it is a good idea to go and see those movies, and then like watch them in order, because they really kind of played up characters besides Laurie and reintroduced them here. Obviously, they're a lot older. Some of them are, portrayed by the same actors, but some of them, like the kids, for example, are indeed not. So, with this film, I do want to give credit to Jamie Lee Curtis, even though she's not really an important part of this movie. She has a lot less to do in this movie than she did in the 2018 Halloween, and that kind of surprised me. And I do want to give credit, too, to Nick Castle, playing Michael Myers again. He's definitely menacing, and some very interesting choices are made in the third act of this film. The writers of this movie really decided to go in a somewhat different direction. It's hard for me to say it was a totally different direction, because there were some things that did come off like homages to the original Halloween 2, like there's a hospital and things like that. But they kind of went in a different direction as far as like Michael and what happens to him, and like what they actually do with the character. Some of the kills, like there's good and bad in this movie. There's pros and cons. To me, some of the kills I thought were completely brutal. There are some downright gory kills in this film. If you're watching these movies for kills, you're going to get tons of them. There's also some surprises as well. You would be surprised as to who actually ends up getting killed and how it plays out. Because there's a lot of bait and switches. Well, not a lot, but there's one in particular at the end of the movie where I was like, wait a minute, what? And then something else happens, and I'm like, wait, what's happening? It was really unexpected, and again, it's one of those things where some people are going to be trashing it, and I understand why. We have to remember there's still a third movie here, Halloween Ends, which might continue the story. There's the feud between Laurie and Michael Myers is one that stretches out through generations. So with Halloween Ends, we're going to have an end, no pun intended, to that to this chapter to Michael Myers, even though they're probably going to come back and make more and reboot them. John Carpenter, of course, returns to the score for the film. Does a great job. Judy Greer is pretty good in this movie. Will Patton. The directing is fine. It does feel like 2018 Halloween, but some parts of it feel older, like a 70s film, and that is not a critique. That is actually a compliment. However, there are parts of this movie that do lose me, besides just the kind of weird, I guess, explanation, if you want to call it that, of Michael's powers. And, the fact that he's very difficult to kill. And, like, the backstory of Michael and his history, not just with the 1978 film, but with other stuff that we find out. You could tell when they wrote this movie that they really wanted to, draw inspiration from that original movie while also erasing all the stuff that the sequels from back then did. We have the Halloween 2, Halloween 4, 5, and 6, the H2O series, and then, of course, we have the Rob Zombie ones, which are separate, and then we have the Blumhouse series. So the Blumhouse series ignores everything from Halloween 2 and up. It just goes Halloween 78, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. So they're going in a different direction, but it's not one that is that crazy. It is a bit more grounded than some of the other fantastical elements, but it's still kind of a deeper theme here. Try not to spoil it. This movie, before it came out, I was hearing that this movie has the most kills of any Halloween movie, and the answer is yes, it does. I mean, sometimes quantity is not, sometimes it's better to have better quality than more quantity. But here, I think they did it not just to match with the title, but also because there's a story reason behind it. But at the same time, Michael is on a complete rampage in this film. Like he's just one after another, piling up the bodies, man. Like, it's wild. But what I thought was pretty smart is that this movie is not just the Strode family against Michael. The whole town gets involved here. And that's something I've always kind of thought about when it comes to a lot of these horror films, is why don't they just get the town together? Some of that is a little bit unrealistic compared to, like, the grander world events. Obviously, Haddonfield or whatever is not a very big town. It's not like a Chicago, Illinois. But, having a mob hunt down Michael Myers makes the most sense. I mean, we have a demonic boogeyman killer who gets away with stuff. I mean, if you were in a small town and you had a guy going around killing people, you would definitely get a mob together to try to find this guy. And it's almost like what they did to Freddy Krueger in the lore. Fred Krueger, in Nightmare 1, before he became, Freddy Krueger. Like when they had the mob go after him, the parents. So that's how this kind of, and that's good. Like, that was something that should have been done a long time ago, to this character. I didn't hate this movie. I was a bit underwhelmed. I did like it, but it's probably not one that I'm going to chalk on my list of favorites. I did like it, although I think that the overabundance of kills somewhat took away from the atmospheric buildup of the kills. It's like at one point they have too many kills to the point where, I know it's going to sound weird, but just hear me out, to the point where they don't have enough space in between the kills, and it's just a rampage, which, again, it's cool for this movie, but it feels different than some of the other Halloween films where John Carpenter took his time to tell the story. Here Michael just doesn't care, and he kind of in the past was a bit more of like a bit more stealth in the way he did things. Here he just does not give a damn. I'm not gonna say that this story is like I'm not gonna say that this story sucks, because I have to wait until Halloween Ends comes out, and then I'll have a real good idea of of if this ends up being a great story. This is just chapter 2 of a 3-chapter story, really a 4-chapter if you include the original. So yeah, I mean, I liked it, did not love it, a bit underwhelmed, but I am looking forward to Halloween Ends to see how the hell they're going to end this and how they're going to finally take Michael out. So, again, go see the movie. It's available on Peacock right now and in movie theaters around the nation. Probably worth seeing, especially this time of year, but it is a bit underwhelming. So have your expectations a bit low, but look forward to those kills. Thanks again. Have a great day. Talk to you very soon.